this video at the World War II Memorial. First of all, I'd like to express my thanks to the Honor Flight program, and we have a young lady that's in charge of that, Beth Ann, and we appreciate all that she's done. I want to just briefly tell you the story about Kilroy. If you're in World War II, everybody has seen the little inscription, and it's inscribed on the back side. I wanted to make my video back there, but there's construction, so that's why we came here.
Especially
so,
on the head.
What?
Especially on the head.
Yeah, right. Okay. Let me just say this in preface. When you tell a story, usually it's in three parts. I heard an old-fashioned preacher one time say, in order to be effective in telling a story, that you first tell them what you're going to tell them, then you tell them, and then you tell them what you told them. That's kind of the story of Kilroy. I was familiar. I spent 4 years in World War II, and I want to just briefly tell you how it got started. When the little inscription, and everybody's heard it repeated many times, Kilroy was here. And what it surprises me, that nobody has ever put it on the internet, and that's what I'm doing. This will be on my Facebook, on the J. Frank Norris Facebook. If you want to make a notation of that.
I know him.
You know it? Okay. Well, that's my Facebook. And we're making a Facebook, and I'm telling a story of Kilroy. It started in Boston, Massachusetts. And Matthew Kilroy was a real person. He's not a figment of imagination. He is not a legendary person. He's real. He was a young soldier that came over in 1768. I hope I get my figures right. As a contingent of the British Army to help quell the riots that were taking place in Boston, Massachusetts. So Kilroy was an 18-year-old Irish lad. He was a typical Irishman with a hot temper. I've read a lot about him. I know a little bit about his background. He sauntered into what was called the rope walks to seek employment. And here's where the story begins. The owner of the rope walks, his name was Samuel Gray. Samuel Gray, of course, was on the other side. So when Kilroy asked for employment, Samuel Gray responded in a sarcastic manner. He said to himself, or he said to Kilroy, "So, hey, you want a job? I'll let you clean out my outhouse." And that's the key to the whole story. Now, for the sake of discretion, it should start with an S, and I think you get what I'm talking about. But bear in mind, the story of Kilroy is a story of the outhouse. So now you say, what's the connection? Well, let me show you what the connection is. If everybody agrees that America is the greatest country on the face of the earth, everybody agree to that?
Yes, sir.
All right, if it hadn't been for the American Revolution, there'd be no America. And if there hadn't been a Boston Massacre, there would not have been an American Revolution. That's where Kilroy enters the picture. Kilroy, on March the 5th of 1770, there was a riot in the streets of Boston, and the soldiers were called out to put down that riot. Kilroy, having been humiliated by Samuel Gray, felt that it was his right to get even with Samuel Gray, who insulted him and humiliated him by offering a job to clean out his outhouse. That's how the thing got started. Now, let me just briefly close it out. On March the 5th, 1770, was the event of the Boston Massacre. You can see all this on the internet. I've done a lot of research. I've been studying it for 2 years. And so Kilroy vowed, he said, I'm going to get even with that man sooner or later. So he went and told his story to some of his buddies. They came back the next night, and they didn't fare so well because Samuel Gray and his rope workers bloodied their noses. So he had to wait till another event, which happened on March the 5th. That's a significant celebration in the city of Boston. Every year they celebrate just what I'm talking about.
That's right.
That's right. And there's Sir?
Hold this sign up.
Well, this is my sign.
Yeah.
You heard it first from Roy. My name is Roy, so that's what it is. Now, Kilroy was put on trial with 8 others, including the captain, 9 people. All of them were exonerated except Kilroy. Now, here's the key to the whole story. In the trial, you can also read this on the internet. At the trial, that's where that word Kilroy was coined. 244 years ago. John Adams, who became the second president of the United States, was the defense attorney. He referred often to Kilroy in trying to defend him. Now, he did defend him, but in doing so, he kept using that phrase, Kilroy was there. Kilroy was in that fight at the rope walk. Kilroy was there and took the life of John Gray, Samuel Gray. I get my name mixed up. But anyway,
He killed a man.
well, he killed a man. He unloaded his musket, which was as big as a softball almost. And they said it put a hole in his head. As I said, he was convicted, and the others were acquitted. So that's why Kilroy was the main character. He's the key to what happened at the Boston Massacre. And what I'm surprised, what's your first name, Walt? Yeah, Walt, I'm surprised that nobody has picked up on that. It's all on the internet. Yeah, I know, I'm telling you the truth, so you've heard it first. The story of Kilroy is an incident that took place at an outhouse. That's never been told. Nobody knows that. They could find out just like I did. And I got interested in it, and I've got tons of information. And I wish I could tell you more, but in view of the time that we're going to have to go, I want you to. So all I can say is, let it close out. I say God bless the memory of Kilroy, and God bless the United States of America. That's
Great
it.
story there.
Yeah. It was brief. It was brief, but I had to make it brief. Yeah.
You did good.